Integrative Inquiry, Week 14, Integration into Daily Life.
Grounding practice. So the invitation is to bring a gentle attention into the feet on the floor, seat in the chair, back upright, alert, yet relaxed. Noticing where the hands are placed. And then inviting the eyes to soften. And bringing a gentle attention to the breath sensation in the belly. Just noticing the gentle rise and fall with the in and out breath. Then whenever you're ready, gently inviting your attention back to the PowerPoint in front of you. Excuse me. So how are you feeling about your practice so far? What practices are you finding most helpful? Who or what supports your practice? It's an invitation to complete a questionnaire online so we can find out about how to support you as we move forward. This means that if you'd like to include your email in this or contact information, we'll follow up with you to provide you some support in your practices that you're finding most helpful, and some perhaps even some coaching if you're open to it. It's up to you. You'll be able to fill out the questionnaire. It's in your learning management system, and complete that so you feel like this isn't the end. I know we have another in-class meeting, but the invitation here will be that you feel like you're supported as you continue. We'll also have some resources in a moment to share with you. But before we do, some more questions. So, because so many have come before me and been generous with me to give you these practices, these are all their practices, none of these are mine. So you've been given practices, tools, strategies, exercises to practice mindful, compassionate leadership. And so now the invitation is, with a lot of self-compassion, is to just ask yourself, what keeps you from practicing? What keeps you from practicing? It's another invitation here. None of us are perfect, and none of us can be all to everyone. We're all human beings. And I've got this empty sign up here because I think when I am at my worst is when I'm tired, when I'm sick, when I can feel the pressure of deadlines on me, when there's multiple demands coming from every direction, and I don't even know who to respond to first. These are human experiences, right? These are human experiences as a leader in our work environment. You're not alone experiencing these. You are not alone. And when we notice this, the invitation is for us to practice, just practice. And the practice is simple as noticing what we're noticing with kindness towards self and others. Suspending the judgment of how well we're practicing, suspending the judgment of what we're noticing. Suspending the storytelling of whether we should be feeling this or shouldn't be feeling this. Suspending all of that so that we can practice, so that we feel empowered to make the requests, to make the choices that we know are in our best interest and in the best interest of others. And as one of my mentors says, Baron Baptiste, you are the only one who takes yourself out. So every time I would have an experience of not practicing in front of everyone, he would just say, you're the only one who took yourself out. And he's right. Like, lots can be happening, but I'm the only one who can choose not to practice. So it's just a practice. And then again, remembering the next moment is the next moment. Oh, I noticed I didn't practice. I noticed that's the practice. I'm practicing again. Yay! So this is what we're doing, okay? So the invitation here is also to share what keeps you from practicing. Share that in the questionnaire. If you'd like to, you don't have to, but we're here to support you in ongoing, providing some coaching, providing some suggestions, providing some strategies. And we invite you to do this with your one-on-ones and your buddies as well. And we'll practice this also in our in-class meeting. One of my favorite teachings, this is from a poem from Robert Frost, but the best way out of the struggle is through the struggle. So the obstacle, the struggle, can become the practice. It can become the object of my attention. It can become the object of my compassion. Isn't that fun? So this whole idea, John Kabat-Zinn always says, wherever you go, there you are. Like whatever it is you're trying to run away from, you're there. Like it's with you, right? Have you noticed that? Whatever you're running away from, it like shows up eventually. No matter how many distractions we can pile up or numbing that we do, as Brene Brown says, it's still there, whatever it is. So whatever it is can become the object of our practice. Isn't that fun? And the whole point is, and you don't have to go this alone. There's a lot of support that's out there, a lot of services that are out there so that you don't go this alone. And a reminder that there's nothing to fix about you. There's nothing wrong with you. Baron Baptiste would always say, you're perfectly imperfect. And so is everyone else. No one has got it figured out. No one has got it figured out. Everyone is struggling with something at some point or another. The big joke is that somebody's got it figured out. The big joke is that there's an arrival, that there's some day I'm going to have this all figured out and have it all together. That's like the big joke. That's not true for anyone. All that can happen is we get better at remembering to practice. We get more consistent at remembering to practice. And when we forget, we get more consistent at remembering to remember to practice. So I'll be inviting you into a lot of private reflections. Again, you don't have to share these. This is an invitation to share, to engage in some journaling for your own self. But I'll be inviting you to take this into class because we'll be working with this. But remember that we talked about in nature, there's nothing stuck. Nature is always growing, it's dying, it's growing around, it's growing through. It's always growing or it's dying. And in our human lives, we'll walk around work and we'll hear people get stuck. They'll get stuck in a problem, they'll get stuck in a rut, they'll get stuck in whatever. You hear this a lot, but in nature, nothing gets stuck. So the invitation here is to look inside. This is going to take some courage. Going to take some vulnerability. You don't have to share this with anyone, but the invitation is to, where in my life am I not free to be myself? So we just talked about visioning for the future, what you would love to see, what's true. Now we can look and say, where am I not free to be myself? Where am I constrained in expressing myself? In what areas of my life is my future not inspiring? Is my vision not inspiring? Or I just can't vision about it? There's nothing wrong with you. We just want to invite some more reflection there. Where's there a limit on my expression of love or affinity? This is a big one. I just want to spend a little bit of time on this. What I discovered about me is that there are times, it's a whole story. We don't need to get into the story of it. But what I noticed is there would be times where I would withhold my love. I would withhold my affection. And there'd be certain environments and certain situations. And there was a belief system around that needed inquiry, that needed to bring a gentle compassion and mindfulness to. So is there an experience like that for you? Maybe there's not. What areas of my life do not have a vision that touches me deeply or moves me powerfully when we think about those four corners, right? Or am I just tolerating my life? And those four corners, yeah. Life, vocation, career, friends and family, health and well-being, time and money freedom? What areas of life for me are completely unexplored? So the idea here is you want to do a little visioning and then just noticing after you do your journaling, and the invitation here would be to do that journaling after you've done some focused breathing or focused movement with breath or some compassion practice. What are you noticing now? What are you experiencing? What are you present to? So I'm going to back up. Remember Otto Scharmer's Theory U? When we talked about really what we're trying to do is we're trying to co-create something different than what we have. We are now arriving at the bottom of the U. What are you present to after doing some deep dive? There's more deep diving we could do, but this is what we can do in 15 weeks, 14 weeks. Right? What are you arriving to? What are you present to the experience of now? And then the invitation will be to distinguish the essential from non-essential, just listening to the body and writing down or speaking to what you're experiencing. And see if you can be with it, be present with what it is, and more importantly, what it's not. And what it's not is a story we're telling ourselves about it. Story we're telling ourselves about it. And we'll work more with this in our in-class experience, okay? So the invitation is to journal on these questions. And then what we want to bring to class is what are you present to the experience of now, okay? And what we'll be practicing is letting go of all the stuff we make up about the experience, right? It's, for me, it's usually wrapped up in not enough, not good enough, not lovable enough, not whatever enough. I have a lot of that. But what if I'm just present to a longing or a discontentment for this? What if it's just that? And it's not that I'm not enough, or this person's not enough, or whatever, right? And the possibilities, the moving up the U to co-creating something different than what we have is born out of being with the experience for what it is and what it's not. Fun? All right. So sometimes this is just an invitation. Sometimes I have to do 3 conversations with myself. It's sort of like, what am I experiencing? And then what's the story that I'm making up? So I go through these 3 conversations. What am I noticing? And then wait, the other thing is not really a person. It's a story I'm making up. And what would that wise friend say about this 3rd story? And begin to problem solve. Explore the story I'm making up. My story I'm making up. There might be multiple stories. And really see if I can get clear on the identity issues here. And then comes another reflection of what am I committed to? Am I committed to keeping the story, or am I committed to creating something different, co-creating something different? What do I need to give up to create something different? Then we'll move through this exercise in class. What's the cost of keeping what I want to give up? And we'll go through some examples. So let's say one of the things I'm dissatisfied with is my health and well-being. Well, what am I, when I go through the presencing, I'll notice there's a particular behaviors that are contributing to a consistent health and well-being. Well, what's the cost of giving up those behaviors, right? What do I think it is? It might be identity. But wait, my strength finder says this is one of my strengths. If you want it done, give it to Marilee. She'll get it done. Giving that up, there's a cost of keeping that, right? Which is the loss of health. Right? There's also, what's the benefit of keeping it? I get to be the person that you give it to. When I get to be considered dependable, I get to be whatever it is, right? What is the benefit of keeping what you want to give up? And the behavior would be just requesting needs, requesting what I need. Time off, more assistance, more time. And so the idea here is that choice is an action of declaring acceptance for what is, after considering what really is. So we can't really accept what is unless, and then that's an action, a choice of accepting what is. What is my health and well-being? What is it? Until I presence myself to it. And we've been building up this whole time to really be present with what is and not the story that we have. So if I want to choose something 100% for what it is, my health and well-being is this, and what it's not is, I'm not a sickly person. I'm not weaker than everybody else. Like, what's the interpretation? That's all the interpretation. The diagnosis is just what the diagnosis is, right? The suffering comes when I go into the interpretation. So now what's possible after I declare acceptance for just this? Well, who am I? Who am I in relationship to this in this moment? How do I feel about it? What's my role in how I feel? What are my options? What choice do I have? What are my options for choices? What's the most loving choice for me and for others? And do I choose the consequence of that? Then I can own the choice and feel empowered. Okay. All right. So this is our practice, and we'll be moving more. We'll be playing with this more in class. I know this is a lot. This will open up some blind spots possibly. Remember, you're not alone. You have your buddy. I'm here for you. You may have a support network already. Let me know if you need a support network. I'm here for you, okay? But we also have lots of resources in moving forward about these practices, so you will not be left high and dry when we finish our in-class portion. Questions, comments? You know how to get a hold of me. Invitation, practice, what you come to practice, try on a new practice, just play, playful curiosity, lots of kindness. Suspend the judgment of yum or yuck. Just give it a shot and enjoy. We'll see you soon.